How are you, Petros?
Yes, I'm good, Congresswoman. How are you? It's very, very great to see you here.
Thank you. Thank you. Where are you?
I am in Ethiopia.
I'll be there soon.
When I heard that you are coming, and I can't wait to have you here.
Thank you. I'm not exactly sure when. The original dates were September 16th.
Yeah.
But we would be leaving D.C. on September 16th, but that might have to change. I might, it might be a little later, but hopefully in the month of September.
Wow, we will be glad to have you.
Thank you. And we're in touch with the Prime Minister's office, and he's agreed to a meeting. So hopefully, well, I mean, I won't come, if he's there, then that's great. But otherwise, I mean, that's my primary reason to go.
Well, I don't have any information on that, but
Are you there? I think maybe you froze.
No.
Freeze.
Can you see me now? Hello? Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I think we were having a little trouble.
Okay. How about now?
Okay, good.
Okay. So I don't have any information about the Prime Minister's situation, but make sure you get in touch when you're here, and I'll make sure you have a good time regarding the entertainment part, but the discussion and everything. I'm just here as a concerned Ethiopian to share some words with you.
Okay. All right. That's good.
Okay. Have you ever been?
What would you like to do? Would you like to start, or you want to for Babu, or what would you like?
Oh, okay.
How you doing? Oh, good.
Madam Chairperson, good morning.
Yes, Babu. Yes, Babu. How are you?
Good. I'm happy that y'all gonna get a chance to talk a little bit.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for making this happen, Babu.
All right.
And Asanto, of course.
And Asanto,
I think I need to get a light. We're in the dark here.
Yes.
It doesn't look that bad. Oh yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Yeah.
That looks good. Yeah, that looks good now. Madam Congresswoman, I would kindly ask you to bear with me. This is my first international meeting. So I have prepared some speech. So I would really like your attention.
Okay, and let me prepare to take some notes.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. As you may very well know, Africa is the richest in the whole wide world in its natural resources, and the poorest in this same world economically. So ironic, isn't it? The reason for this, in my view, is the fact that we have never been challenged enough as the Westerners did by Mother Nature. Whatever the reason for us not to use our own resources to our economic development to date is, it has to end now. And Africa needs to stop depending on Western aid for its prosperity. For Africa to start using its own resources towards its growth, what we need the most is visionary, knowledgeable, uncorrupt leaders who love their country more than themselves in each African state. When an African country finds that visionary and uncorrupt leader, will stop being called shitholes. When Africans start being led by knowledgeable, confident leaders, Westerners will stop discussing how to blow up our dams and start discussing about issues that matter the most. When the day comes for Africa to find the visionary, loving, and again uncorrupt leader that prioritizes African unity instead of ethnic division, that day Africa will begin shining with its own diamonds. That very day, Africa will wake up to use its own energy resources. That day, Africa will stop taking aid and start working with its unified citizens that can create miracles with more than 1 billion souls and minds combined towards unstoppable prosperity. Madam Congresswoman, that being said, I would now go to the very reason for us to have this conversation today. Motherland Ethiopia. I'm sure you know that Ethiopia is a country of the oldest civilization in Africa and one of the few in the world with more than 3,000 years of history. Almost all those 3,000 years, Ethiopia was led by a government of its own with a trade route to Far East, India, the Middle East, Europe, and the other African neighbors, and the citizens of Ethiopia never had serious issues regarding tribalism. All the tribes in Ethiopia are known to have been married to each other and raised mixed tribe children. I myself am a product of the intertribal marriage with nowhere to go if Ethiopia is divided into ethnic federations. The first Ethiopian problem that presents the dangers of separatism began in the 18th century with the leadership of Ras Mikhail, who came from the very Tigray region and reigned in Gondar in the mid-18th century. Mikhail Suhul put a hold to the Solomonic dynasty, which has been governing the country for over 2 millennia, and Ethiopia was divided into a lot of different regions, and the era called Zemene Mesafint continued for almost a century. During this period, Ethiopia lost its prominence in the global map and was too weak to matter to the rest of the world. War broke between regions to control highlands and fertile lands. A lot of Ethiopians died because of this. This era is the time when Ethiopia's hope to become one of the world's biggest economy was tarnished. Madam Congresswoman, who is responsible for Ethiopia to be that weak? Ras Mikhail, who intentionally or unknowingly divided the country into pieces. And where did this Ras come from? Tigray. After almost 90 years of darkness in Ethiopia, King Theodros II, a self-proclaimed king with no royalty background, fought with almost all the regional leaders and brought the country back together in the mid-19th century. Since 1855, Ethiopia as we know it on the world map was created and has become the only African country never to have been colonized by the Westerners, and thus become the source of pride for all the black community around the world. And again, who helped and led the British army to kill King Theodros? Some traitors from this same Tigray region. Then came King Menelik II, who introduced the modern government system in Ethiopia, who is known to have kept Ethiopia's unity intact, and most of all, who led the war against Italy's colonial aggression at the Battle of Adwa, and became the first black leader to show the world that black is power as well when united. The only justifiable answer to the question, I quote, what's so special about Ethiopians other than the rest of Africa to defend themselves against European colonial aggression was our unity and perseverance. Then King Haile Selassie in 1930, who is considered the father of the African Union when it was established in Addis Ababa, who was also a founding member of the United Nations, and an African king who sent troops to Korea to help win their war. The Italians tried to conquer Ethiopia and stayed for 5 years fighting with the Ethiopian heroes. And guess who helped the Italians during the war? Again, some traitors from the Tigray region. But the Ethiopians won the war and the Italians were defeated for the second time. And again, Ethiopia's unity, regardless of their differences in tribe and religion, was our main source of strength to defeat the Italian aggression out of Ethiopia. During all this time, the whole wide world knows what the map looks like. This map, Madam Congresswoman, the map is the Tigrayan region, the old map of Ethiopia before the Tigrayans came to power in Ethiopia. The map was bordered between the Amhara and the Afar region. Tigray had no access to the Sudanese border. It was bordered in between the two Ethiopian regions, Afar in the east and Amhara region in the west. There was no such thing as Western Tigray. This is the old map that the whole wide world knows before the Tigrayans came to power in 1991. Right after King Haile Selassie's demise, when Mengistu Haile Mariam took power in Addis Ababa a group of 7 or 9 people went into the Tigrayan jungle and established TPLF, the Tigrayan People's Liberation Front, with a dream of forming the Greater Tigray as a country seceding from Ethiopia. With the Derg regime's dictatorial mistakes and ideological mishaps, the TPLF group through time was able to get ground in Tigray and won the hearts and minds of the Tigrayan people. Just because Mengistu Haile Mariam's worsening leadership was not accepted throughout the country, the TPLF was also able to convince the Amhara and Oromo elites to establish a coalition party called the EPRDF, which finally made the TPLF put their primary ambition of seceding from Ethiopia on hold and grab the power to lead the country as a whole. This is the time when Ethiopia's worst nightmare started taking place. Madam Congresswoman, till this critical moment in time, Ethiopia's map was still the same map that we received from King Menelik. And Ethiopians never had major tribal problems except some workable issues here and there, mostly coming from cattle shepherds and fertile land controversies. And Ethiopians never had major tribal problems. Rather, the main problem we had with Mengistu Haile Mariam's leadership was the communist ideology that took away everybody's land and private properties and made them government-owned. But let me show you one CNN video.
Appeal to Ethiopian officials for aircraft to fly supplies where they are desperately needed. Just how bad the situation really is in Ethiopia is difficult to determine because it is difficult to get unbiased information out of the highly volatile war zone. But one reporter who recently left the region managed to sneak out some forbidden footage. Lindsay Taylor has this account of his stay in Ethiopia.
No runway lights, airport navigation aids switched off, no one responding to radio messages. This was our first hint of what a country in revolution is like. One of Africa's busiest airports, all but deserted. The empty control tower adding to the eerie atmosphere. But we were not alone. Instead of ground staff, we found young rebel soldiers. Tigrayan troops now controlling the airport. A 24-hour curfew had been enforced after the brief but fierce battle against forces loyal to the ousted dictator Mengistu. Despite the battle scars, this seemed to be a remarkably peaceful revolution. In neighbouring Somalia, thousands were massacred when the rebels seized control of Mogadishu. But here, despite the ease of entry, the Army of Liberation was not welcomed with open arms. Are most people happy to see the rebels here, most of these people here?
በአሁን ጊዜ ተደስታችሁ ወይ ሰላም ነው ወይ እነዚህ የሞቱ የገቡት ብሎ እየጠየቀ አንዳንዳችሁ እንትን የደስታ ስሜት ካላችሁ መናገር ትችላላችሁ። No, absolutely no. We are in prison. We are in prison. We have no democracy. We are under the gun.
However much their hatred of Mengistu, many people in the capital, the EPRDF, made up of mainly Tigrayan soldiers from the north, was like an occupying army.
After the EPRDF, the first thing the EPRDF did as soon as they grabbed the political power was divide the country into 11 ethnic-based geographical locations and change the name of the provinces to their respective tribal names. With this newly introduced map, the TPLF took land that did not originally belong to them and which still is the source of the clash between the Amhara and the Tigray states. This is the new map. This here is Tigray. This is the Amhara region. This here is Tigray. And this is the Amhara region. And this is Djibouti. So this is the old map that we used to have before. This is Tigray. This is Wollo, the Amhara region. And this is Gondar, the Amhara region. And this is Tigray. And this is Eritrea here. So this land here belonged to the Amhara region. So as soon as they took power,
I see it.
as soon as they took power, so they came up with this map.
You can hear me.
Yes.
There you You're showing me the disputed area.
Yeah, I'm trying to show you the disputed area here. This is an access to the Sudanese border.
Right.
The Tigrayan region didn't have an access to the Sudanese border. This is a very fertile land which belonged to the Amhara region. But when they took power, because there was no resistance, because all the parties, everybody is poor and had no weapon, because the TPLF was the leaders of the rebel, they took, without any resistance, they took this land and had access to the Sudanese border. Now, I want you to listen to this one. After introducing 11 ethnic-based geographical locations and changed the names of the provinces to their respective tribal names. Before, there was no tribal name. It was just geographical names. I was born in Jimma. It's now called Oromia with the tribal name. But when I was born, I am 52 years old, it was called Jimma. But now, I have to say I am from this tribe, not from this place. So, this is not the only thing they did. They took out history course, Ethiopian history, from the curriculum of the Ethiopian high schools and from the Ethiopian universities, so that the youth doesn't ask about their history. Dear Madam Congress, during the last 27 years of EPRDF's leadership in Ethiopia under Meles Zenawi, not a year passed without a protest against the EPRDF. Here in Ethiopia and in every state in America, every single month there has been a protest against Meles Zenawi's dictatorship. But America never gave any attention to any of the protests happening during those times. More than 20,000 people were blacklisted not to ever return to their country just because they protested against politics. Thousands of people were killed, tortured, or disappeared for standing against TPLF's separatism ideology. To your surprise, my friends, I can be corrected on this, but I have never heard the EPRDF leaders mention the name Ethiopia during their 27 years of leading the country. Never in history, never in the 27 years, be it Meles Zenawi, be it Haile Mariam, be it the other leaders, never mentioned in the media the name Ethiopia. Simply put, TPLF can be registered on the Guinness Book of Records for being the only government in the world who were able to hypnotize an entire country for 27 years to its disaster. After 27 years, Ethiopians couldn't take it anymore, and demonstrations of protests erupted in every region all over Ethiopia. Gondar, Oromia, every state. After 27 years, Ethiopians couldn't take it anymore, and demonstrations of protests erupted in every region all over Ethiopia. The TPLF killed as many as they could, but could not stop the demonstrations and could not threaten the angry youth by their killings. The then Prime Minister Haile Mariam became the first in African history to resign from serving as a puppet Prime Minister to the TPLF group. The TPLF was forced to leave power after 27 years of looting the country to its core. And the current Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed came to power with a promise to bring the country together and also a promise to make peace with Eritrea. This was how he was accepted by the whole nation. For the first time in 50 years, happy about their leader. But the TPLF forces knew their time has come to take it to the north and started working towards their hidden agenda of secession. Unusually in Africa, the new Prime Minister allowed the TPLF members to take whatever they looted and live peacefully in Mekelle, the capital city of the Tigray region. Their hunger for power wouldn't let go. They started using the money they looted to buy greedy messengers within different states of Ethiopia and funded extremists to kill their own races brutally. The new Ethiopian government literally begged the TPLF forces to stop their evil deeds to an elephant's ear. And the TPLF forces attacked the military base with more than 75% of the nation's weaponry and vowed to wage war against Ethiopia. The Ethiopian Defense Force retaliated, took over the weapons, and the Amhara militia took back the land that has been taken by force from it 30 years ago. Madam Congresswoman, this is what the war looks like with all its background. The Ethiopian National Defense Force has won the war at the battlefront, but it was defeated with the diplomatic war and the propaganda. Diplomacy in America is all about lobbyists, connection, and nepotism. The new Ethiopian government didn't get enough time to work on all these fields before the war took its full course. It looks like the American government is sympathizing with the TPLF forces who have been declared terrorists by the Ethiopian parliament. But I tell you now that helping the TPLF means destabilizing the Horn of Africa. Let me show you their ambitious map so that you understand where they are heading. This is the TPLF's new map. It starts from the Gambela region, takes over all the Great Renaissance Dam area, stretches to the Eritrean port of Assab. This is their ambitious map that they want to build after seceding from Ethiopia.
So you're saying you want to succeed. And so when I look at the map, because it's hard to see.
I'll send all the maps through the email.
But is what I'm seeing on this side, okay, because I don't know if it's your left or your right.
Yeah.
Is that to carve territory in the middle of Ethiopia so that Ethiopia would be kind of like Gaza and the West Bank?
Exactly.
Disconnected? Is that what?
Exactly. They take their existing Tigrayan land, they stretch in the west of Ethiopia, they stretch to the region of Gambela and Benshangul Gumuz, where the Great Renaissance Dam is being built at. And they also take...
So on this side of what you're showing me is currently Ethiopia. I'm not looking at the border of Sudan. It's only because, the picture is so small I can't.
Yeah.
I can see the green, of course. I just can't tell what's on either side.
This side here is the port of Sudan.
Yeah. So that's Sudan?
This side here is the port of Sudan, here. Not the port, this is the border of Sudan.
Okay.
And this side here is the port of Assab in Eritrea. So their ambition is to build this greater Tigray, seceding from Ethiopia, expanding to Eritrea, and taking some land from Sudan as well. So if these guys succeed in seceding from Ethiopia, we are not going to have a stable Horn of Africa. That's my worry. The war will not stop within Ethiopia. The war will extend further to Eritrea, Djibouti, and on the west, Sudan. This is what I fear that will be happening. And I am afraid that we are going to not only lose Ethiopia, but Eritrea, Djibouti, and we will never be having peace in this Horn of Africa. So, if you want a strong nation in the Horn of Africa, Madam Congresswoman, please stand with Ethiopia. If America wants Ethiopia destabilized and the Horn of Africa to be an incubating ground for terrorists, I don't know this is going to happen, but it looks like America is sympathizing with TPLF. If you are confused whom to trust, just take your hands off Ethiopia. Tell America to take her hands off Ethiopia and let us solve our problems the way we can. But please, I beg you, in the name of the 100 million Ethiopians, to take America's hands off Ethiopia. We do not want to be another Libya, Afghanistan, Yemen, Iraq, the list goes on. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Babu and Asantwa, for making this happen. And thank you, Madam Congresswoman, for listening to me. I'm ready to answer any questions if you have some.
Thank you. And Jacqueline was just showing me, she got that map. It was just showing me so I could see it closer.
Okay. Just put older map, older Ethiopian map. You'll get the old Ethiopian maps, and type the Greater Tigray map. You'll get it on the map, Google Maps, and type the new Ethiopian map. Yeah, and you'll get all the information you need. I got them all from the internet. I'm here as a concerned citizen. I'm here as a concerned African. I'm not supporting any party here. I'm not pro-government, or I'm not against the Tigrayans. I have my best friends who are from the Tigray region. If I call 5 friends, 3 of them are from the Tigray region. So I have nothing against the Tigrayans. But I'm here as a concerned Ethiopian that wants a strong nation, that wants Ethiopia to prevail, that wants Ethiopia to continue.